How's it going, ladies? Good? You enjoying the day so far? Well, I gotta tell you, I am really lucky to be speaking today. It's completely God's grace that I have a voice at all. I actually lost my voice a couple days ago. Wasn't able to really speak at all. It was just kind of like, the hush, kind of whispering, like. So I'm so glad that I am where I am today, and I'm able to share this message with you. And anytime they say that you're going to be sharing something really big, you're going to get something coming at you, right? So I got some really good stuff for you today. So I want to just share a little bit about me as well, just so you have a little bit more insight as to who I am and what I go through on a daily basis. And I'm sure some of you all will be able to relate pretty well. So I am the mother of 3 kids. I've got 2 boys and a girl. The little girl's in the other room. I have a 5-year-old, a 22-month-old, and a 2.5-month-old. So busy, right? So, I love being a mother. I love being able to manage a household, and I love to build my business. Those are 3 components of my life that are very, very involved. And I love doing what I do because I know that it's making a difference in the lives of others. And it really, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of energy every single day to wake up, to get up out of bed, to put your feet on the ground, and to stand up and say, it's another day. We got one more day. And, sometimes we don't know exactly what to expect, right? I would say that's probably 80% of the time. We're like, what's going to happen today? How are our kids going to react? How are things going to play out if you have multiple kids? Are they going to get along? Well, I have this little sign that basically pokes me in the forehead every morning, and it says, today is a new day. And I think we have to remember that every time that we wake up in the morning, we are starting fresh. And we have the opportunity to completely renew ourselves. We can become revitalized. So today, I'm going to be talking to you about some really cool strategies that God divinely inspired me with. And I want you to be able to take those strategies away and work with them, implement them, walk away and just put them in your life every single day. It's going to make all the difference in the world. So my first point is that there is no perfect balance, right? So there's always going to be something that we're working on. We're always going to be working towards some great endeavor. We're always going to be working on an area that's going to be down here. We're going to have something up here, and we're going to have something up here. And I'm going to show you an example here in a little while from one of my children's toys that, I always bring their toys into my presentations and I'm like, all right, this works. So seasons come and seasons go, but God is always there. So I like to look at Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. And you have to remember, when we are going through really difficult days, and we are struggling, and we are just gasping and grasping at every single little thing to just try and get through the next minute, sometimes we need to just step back and say to ourselves, I need to be still. I need to take some time to reflect upon the situation that I'm dealing with right now. Sometimes it's kids reaping havoc all over the house. Sometimes it's a situation that happened to us at work. Sometimes we're fighting with our husband. Whatever the case may be, sometimes we just need a restart. So I want to talk about that, and I'm going to reflect back upon that restart in just a minute here. And I want you to reflect upon God's timing and understanding God's perfect timing for today and tomorrow. sometimes we don't understand what it is that we're going through. There are days when I wake up with my 2-month-old and I'm holding her in my arms, and then the 22-month-old wakes up and he's like, "Mama, come get me out of the crib." He's ready to get up and ready to roll. So I've got her in this arm, and I'm trying to grab him in this arm, and then I've got my 5-year-old who's like, "Mom, I'm ready for breakfast. Like, let's go." So it's like, when you only have 2 hands, it's like, what do you do? So sometimes you have those days where you got all of them screaming in your face, wanting something. And you're like, goodness sakes, how am I going to be able to handle this? Well, the thing is we were given those kids for a reason, right? They were there, they are here to teach us something significant. They're a blessing, a complete blessing from God. And they're all so different, so we have to work interconnectedly with them in a different way. What you do with one, you're not going to do with another. They've got different personalities, but they've also got different gifts. Amen? So I wanted to just share with you a cute little story with my 5-year-old. His name's Asher, which, by the way, means blessing and happiness. He's really interested in numbers. He loves to count. He loves to add things up, and he's incredibly intelligent for only being a 5-year-old. And we got to talking about big numbers, right? And he's like, well, what's the biggest number? What's the biggest one out there? And I said, well, I guess that Google's the biggest number, the biggest number known to man. And he's like, well, what about a Google plus 1? And I'm like, well, then I guess that would be a little bit bigger, right? Just a little bit. But so he kept that in his mind. And the next day he went to school and I said, so how was school today? Did you have fun? And he's like, it was Google hours. So I'm like, really? Oh, man. And then I got to thinking, and I'm like, how awesome would that be if we did have Google hours, right? Because we never have enough time to get everything that we want to get done in a day. We've got so many responsibilities, and it's just like, gosh, when am I going to possibly get to this next thing, right? So I want to dive deep into some of the major lies that we buy into as mothers. And the first lie is, you have to do it all every day. And sometimes we just need to reflect upon what we're doing and assess what that looks like. Are we getting the results that we want? Are we able to put forth the energy that we need to put forth in order to achieve the desired result of what we're doing? Or are we just going through the days and just little by little getting more and more tired because we don't have any kind of a plan to accomplish our tasks? I think it's really, really important for us to reflect upon all of the different things that we do every day and decide, is this necessary? Is this important for me to be doing right here, right now? Because sometimes we need to minimize the stuff in our schedule in order to maximize the quality of our life. That is so important. More than ever today, we are caught up in social media, in the busyness of our work, in managing a house, by doing the laundry, the dishes, all of that stuff, and taking time for your husband. You don't want to forget about that one because God knows he needs you to be there too, right? So all of these things are demands upon us every day, and we get exhausted. It's just natural. And when I work with my clients, some of the biggest complaints or challenges that they're going through are the consistency of having too much going on around them. And I want you to consider that for a moment. Consider some of those things maybe that you could take out of your busy schedule. What are some things that you could potentially push to the wayside, at least for a period of time? Because remember, seasons come and seasons go. So if you have little children at home, perhaps, then you're not going to be able to do everything every single day. Whatever age your children are at, there's different expectations and there's different responsibilities, right? The second point is you have to do everything perfect. Ladies, we are guilty of this all the time because we want to be the best moms, we want to be the best wives, we want to be the best aunts, we want to be the best sisters. We want to do everything that we can to be the best at everything. And sometimes it's just too much. So I want you to take a step back and look at that as well. And think about, what is it that I'm trying to do perfect all the time? And I'm not saying not to try, not to, give it effort at what you're doing. But just remember that your kids are not going to care if you forget a little something, or if you forget to throw the peas in the soup, or, if there's like these little things that happen that you forget about. Don't let it be all-consuming and ruin you as a person, okay? My third point is you can't experience joy in the midst of a big mess. This one resonates so well with me. And I gotta tell you, just even in my experience right now, with my throat the way that it is, I am a mess. I am a mess because I've been stressed out and anxious about this event. And God shared with me, don't worry, you got this. Because you've got a great message to share with these women. And even if you're doing it in sign language, they're still going to get it. So, I want you to think about one of the messes that you're in right now. Whether it be a messy house or a messy relationship. This kind of stuff can really affect us day to day. It can hinder us from being our best selves. But I want to challenge you to think about that mess that you're in and discover how you can find joy in the midst of it. Because there's always something to be thankful and grateful for. Always, no matter what it is. And sometimes when I have a messy house and I can't even see the carpet, I'm like, you know what? I'm spending quality time with my kids. And I'm never going to get this time back. Because once it's gone forever. And all of you that have grown kids in here know what I'm talking about. It goes by way too fast. And there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about that. So I try to remember when I am in that mess that it's going to be a good memory. It's going to be a mess with a good memory in it. So moving on to the next point is, what will we get when we surrender to God's will and direction for our daily living? And these are 5 great points that God just He gave me to share with you. The number 1 is freedom. Free of anxiousness, worry, and doubt. God's going to take us away from that stress and that feeling of anxiety. Number 2 is fulfillment. Fulfilled in daily living. Those tasks, those responsibilities, your jobs, relationships. Number 3 is love. Feeling love regardless of outside influences. And when we're trying to balance it all, God knows, sometimes it can be hard to feel that love, right? Sometimes we're more in attack mode, right? And number 4 is happiness. Feeling joy every day and giving thanks for the opportunity in front of us. feeling joy every day. And the fifth one is contentment. Trusting God wherever we are. So we can be in a really difficult spot, and we can find it hard to have that contentment. And we can say, God, I need something here. I need you to give me an ounce of, insight on how I'm supposed to move forward from where I'm at. And God wants us first to seek his kingdom, no matter what it is that we're doing. As taken from Matthew 6:33, seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you. And we know when we are not seeking his kingdom, because our life can become completely out of whack, as I'm going to share with you here in just a little bit. But I also wanted to highlight the Proverbs 31 woman who basically does it all. And I know there's someone else speaking on this, so I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here, but I think it's very important to highlight her as somebody that really is a great example of everything that we're trying to be every single day. So I wanted to look at Proverbs 31:18. She sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. I want to talk about that for a second, because how many times are we up in the night worrying about something, thinking about something, getting anxious about something? It's very difficult as mothers not to worry about our children, not to worry about our responsibilities or our husband. There's a lot of things that we think about, and sometimes the wheels just don't stop. We go all night long. But I want to share with you that God sees you in that time. He sees what you're going through. And though nobody else may be seeing you at that time, your spouse is sleeping, your kids are sleeping, and you're sitting there in the dark, God sees you. And he is there. When it is dark, he is that light that you can look to. He's there when you need prayer. He's there when you need direction and wisdom. So when we're thinking about all this stuff involving our busy life, he's just saying, I'm right here with you. And sometimes that's hard to see because we feel so alone, or we feel so upset about where we're at. But remember, even in the darkest of dark places, a single candle can light up the room. So keep that in mind. I also wanted to highlight Proverbs 31:25. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. How many of you can laugh at yourself in certain circumstances? It's not always easy, is it? It's not always easy, as we shared earlier, about dealing with those messes and understanding where to go from where you're at. But you know what? Laughter is the best medicine. So allow yourself to do it. When you're trying to balance it all, remember that there's a million other ladies going through it with you. They get you. And that's why these kinds of things are so awesome. I'm so excited to be here and share this stuff with you. Verse 26 says, she speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. So what comes out of your mouth on a daily basis? What are you declaring before your life? This is one of the greatest pieces of advice that I ever learned, was declaring what my day is going to be I'm declaring that I'm going to have a successful, productive, contented, fulfilled day. And I'm going to do that as soon as I get out of bed in the morning. You make that declaration in the morning, your day is going to change. I'm telling you right now. And you say, in Jesus' name, nothing is going to stop me from being the best that I can be today. 27 says, she watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. I can hardly imagine that any of us are idle. But what's the opposite of idle? Doing stuff 24/7, right? Constantly doing something. We need to be able to have time for ourselves and have some independence where we can just completely absorb the moment and be still. Just taking that time, even if it's 10 minutes a day. In verse 30, charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. I love this one because no matter what we look like in the morning, after a busy night with our deep dark circles and no makeup, and our hair pulled back because we didn't get a shower last night, God doesn't worry about any of that stuff. So we shouldn't either. We will always be beautiful in His eyes, inside and out, no matter what time of day it is. Okay? I hope I can get through all this. So the 10 points for the Proverbs 31 women are, number 1, to have faith. Has a steadfast faith in the Lord. Number 2 is marriage. Takes heed to her husband's leading and is a faithful wife. Number 3 is mothering. Cares for her children in a loving way. Number 4 is health. She takes care of her body. Number 5 is service. Is willing to give back to those in need. 6 is finances. Manages her money wisely. 7 is homemaking. She takes care of her family and loves them with her whole heart. 8 is time. Making the most of her time every day and not wasting it. And the last one is beauty. She uses it as Christ would want her to use it, day in and day out. Now I want to skip around for a minute here and talk specifically to what Jesus said. And to me, this is such a great example of what we have to go through on a daily basis. So I just want to read something to you here. There was one occasion when Jesus described himself as feeling overwhelmed. How many of us feel overwhelmed on a daily basis? Jesus experienced it too. It was in Gethsemane, just before his arrest, trial, and crucifixion. Talk about being overwhelmed. I think our level of overwhelmment is a little different than that, right? He began to be deeply distressed and troubled. My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. He said to his disciples, stay here and keep watch. Going a little further, he fell to the ground and prayed, taken from Mark 14:33-35. In considering this fact, we too can be overwhelmed by many situations. But Jesus gave us 3 great points here. First, he was completely honest about how he felt. What is this situation that I'm going through? And, just really being honest with those around you and giving them the authenticity of what is happening. That's going to make so much difference for you, rather than just telling everybody it's okay if you're dealing with something. Second, there are three things here. He solicited the help of his friends, so that goes hand in hand with basically being authentic and honest. And third, he prayed. So we always want to make sure that we are looking to God for all of those overwhelming times. He took the burden to his Father. What a great model for us that was. So those three major points that Jesus taught us were, number one, to stop, and this is on your outline. 2, to be still, and 3, to pray. And I want to share a really great point with you, which is we need to take time to pray, but we also need to take time to meditate on the Word. What is God sharing with us? So not just us sharing what's going on, but what is He giving back to us? We need to understand what that message is. For the sake of time, I'm going to show you my little example here, which I think is really cool. It shows us basically how we can become so involved with all of our household things. So we're focusing on our household. We're also focusing on our children, taking care of our kids every single day, right? We're also trying to have a good relationship with our husband, working on our marriage. We're also building a business or working for corporate or having a job. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a job outside of the home. Your job can be just everything within it. Does that look like a life in balance to you? No, we got way too much stuff on one side here. But when you bring God into the equation, He helps you balance everything out. So that's what we need to do, and I just got chills when I said that. We need to look to Him in all of these areas of our life, because He's going to change it for the better, and He's going to have it make sense. He's going to allow us to become our best selves in every area. Now I wanted you to look real quick on your sheet. You should have a graph in front of you. This was my example of my personal graph and the amount of time that I'm spending in each area. This is my ideal. So it doesn't happen all the time. This is my ideal that I'm looking at. So it gives you a really good example of what you're spending your time on, where you're spending your time. So real quick, I want you to go ahead and there's 7 different points that I want you to highlight, and then go ahead and fill out that graph just to see for yourself how much time you're spending in each area. So household, children, husband, wellness, hobbies, business, Jesus. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and give you the last 3 strategies, because I want to make sure you get them, because these are important. These are strategies that God has revealed to me that were really important and really hit home for me that I've been using. Number 1 is to take a 10 to 15 minute restart. Taking time for yourself every single day. And I want to challenge you also to do that twice a day. This is what I teach my clients. In the morning and in the afternoon, take 10 to 15 minutes of me time. No matter what's going on around you, stop and be still. Number 2 is delegate and outsource where necessary. Jesus said, go and make disciples out of them. Matthew 28:19. Even Jesus had people doing things for him, right? Sometimes we have to be able to do that for ourselves. Number 3 is spend time doing things that are important and noble. Ephesians 5:15 through 17. Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of your time. Because the days are evil, therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. I want to leave you with some final thoughts here today. And that is, no matter what you're doing with your time, I want to encourage you to be there. Be there as much as you possibly can. Be in that moment. Because time is fleeting. Again, you never get time back. So whether it be spending time with your children, doing laundry, or massaging your husband's back, be there in those moments. Because it'll make all the difference in the world for the way that you will remember your life. You want to look back on your life and remember it and say to yourself, I truly lived. I lived every single day to the best of my ability. And if you are present and you are in it and you are there, that's what you're going to get. You'll look back at the end of your life and say, I did it. Now, if anybody would like to connect further, I have note cards that I'm actually going to be doing a drawing. I'm giving away 2 of my books. One is Unleash Your Potential, and the other one is Shine On, which is a 60-day devotional. And I'm going to go ahead and do that raffle right now. So if you want to put your name, email, and phone number on the note card, and then, Jen, do you want to pick them up? Jennifer will just come pick them up from you, and then we'll do the drawing real quick. So aside from that, ladies, I am so happy to have been able to share this message with you. As my good friend says, the devil's not going to stop me